welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. So part two, I guess, of this conversation, but also part one. It's the other side. And I do want it to be its own podcast. But first of all, why don't you quickly introduce to everyone who you are and why you're here?
Cool. So I'm Michelle. I'm 30. I can't believe it, but I have been self-employed for 8 years. I have a cake shop called Mint Cakery in Ellerslie. And I also have a business partner. His name's Darren. He's been on the podcast before. Yep. He has his Insta handles and TikTok as Daz is Cooked. So we also have a pie shop, which is called Ashby Pies. So bakery vibes. Been doing this a long time now.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I love it. You know, Ashby Pies is funny because like I hadn't been there. Because honestly, I hadn't been there because it's St. Heliers and fuck, I have to pick a lunch to get there from here. But my mate lives in St. Heliers and I went round to her house for birthday the other day and I was like, oh, that's Ashby Pies. Like it's literally like around from Anna. Oh, really? Anna's house. And I was like, Anna, because she always complains I won't come to her house. I was like, you could have told me Ashby Pies is right there. I'd be here every week. Like,
and then I'll make the trek over. Yeah, totally.
So that's quite funny. Anyway, we talked about this off camera, but I wanted to go back and get your version of events and see how they align to Darren's and see how much fibs he was telling us or what he left out. But we'll go through that and then we'll talk about the stuff that we got in front of us here especially. Yeah, but take us back how this hospitality bakery career started and where it all came from.
So I kind of just feel like my brain is wired differently. Like when I was a teenager for fun, I would write like business plans. I would like cost out things, how much it would cost to like set up a kitchen. This is always what I've wanted to do. I've never ever sidetracked. Yep. And so
where did that come from? Wait, before we skip over that, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Like that is strange and unusual. But it's like I love it because it's like what I used to do it wasn't hospitality because I didn't think of hospitality, but I was always business, like trying to write business plans.
It's a different type of person, right? Yeah. And when you come across that person and then like they get it, it's like that's the only person that also gets it too. You know, like so very busy brain, like super high functioning, but like it does me well. Yeah. So
obviously it's done really well.
Yeah. So
were your parents entrepreneurs? Or were your parents business owners?
No, they're very risk adverse.
Yeah, interesting.
Like I'm the opposite. So like my dad was a painter, self-employed kind of thing, but like really like do everything like super safe, no risk.
Typical Kiwi sole trader. Yeah. Okay. Were there other influences in your life that you think could have done this? Like, did you grow up watching like Kitchen Nightmares like I did?
No, actually.
You know, Kitchen Nightmares is like responsible for so much of my hospitality career.
Oh,
like,
funny.
There's so much stuff in there. I'm like, that's actually true. Strip it back to basics.
Like all I watched was baking shows and things growing up. And like back in the day, there used to be heaps of events. Like the food show was amazing. Like it's still cool, but like it was amazing back then. And going to like Taste of Auckland and stuff, like I loved it. Yeah. Like me and my mum would like travel to like Wellington for the food show and then go to the Auckland one as well. So she was like kind of like into food, but
not business.
Not really.
Yeah.
You know,
not like you are.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. But like I've always had 3 jobs. Yeah. You know, like in high school and stuff. Yeah. There's no such thing as free time in my brain. I wish there was. And that's kind of where the like, you know, that comment of like the cookbook, like why can't people have like a food page and do something just for fun? Yeah. And like that's where that kind of starts. Yeah. So cool.
Well, keep going. We'll break into that. Oh, you're going to go into something else?
No. Yeah. So, that's it really.
So you're always into business. Yeah. And then, Darren didn't really get into like your side of where your career was prior to you guys starting the business.
So I like after uni, after school, I went to uni and I did like a year of Bachelor of Health Science, but only because my parents were like, you need to go to uni.
That's so weird for what?
Yeah.
You loved business and loved food.
Yeah.
And you did health
sciences. And so like I went to uni, like I never went.
Yeah.
I like barely, I think I passed, I don't know, like, but barely, you know, like I just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
And so I also was working at like a cake shop part-time as well. And then I ended up teaching classes.
Okay.
So I was teaching like decorating classes when I was 19.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Even that, I'm like, that's crazy because I was like, I'll teach these classes.
At the cake shop? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So there was a bit of that.
Was the owner there quite good at business? Did they influence you at all? It was just something in your brain, eh?
I don't know.
Your brain's just geared up wrong.
There's like, wrong.
Right.
No, but like...
Because mine's the same. I just want to check, like, are you the same as me? Like, that was how my brain just worked. Like, I couldn't not have a job and be like, this is how we should operate this. Like, we need to. And they're like, mate, you're a busser. Like, come back to work. You don't run the restaurant.
Yeah. And like, I'm a really bad employee. Like, I would get so worked up over like stupid shit. I'm like, why are you doing this? Even like this cafe I worked in, like in high school, they would like buy in this like pastry and sell it for too long, like for too many days. And I was like, that's disgusting. And like get so worked up about it. It's like, why do I care? And then I saw this quote and I was like, it's not my circus, not my monkeys. And then every time they were doing something stupid, I was like, you're not my monkeys. Like, I'm just going to like stay away from this because you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
So,
it's hard to watch though, So for me, that was a big thing because coming up through hospo, I was the same. I was a real bad employee. One, because I fucked around a lot, but I fucked around a lot because I was like, this is stupid. You guys are stupid. Like, we could be making so much more money and doing so much more things. And so when I finally got the opportunity to run my own hotel or food and beverage departments or whatever, like, it was so good to implement things that you knew would work and they would. And then everyone was like, oh, you're really good at this. I was like, no, you guys are just shit. Like, this is just basic stuff. This is kitchen nightmares. Like,
That's so funny. Like I can so see how that would be interchangeable, like with hotels and stuff, because it's such a big business as well. And there's so many different avenues where you'd have to like bring it together and just getting people to be on the same page.
And they just put, like, people in hotels or in all businesses just add layer and layer of shit on top of things because they're like, oh, this isn't working, let's do that. But actually usually the fix is just strip it all back to basics. Like, do the least amount of things to be profitable. And just do that really well. You know, it was like you guys at Ashby Pies just like stripping everything else
that
out.
is what we're like currently doing. But anyway, so
back
to the story. So I ended up going to a cooking school for like a year, but it was cooking, it wasn't baking. It was like, it was a fun time, but I didn't learn any of my skills there. Like I would say like I'm completely self-taught, but it was good because I ended up working there. So I was teaching barista classes. And then, so see, I was like 20 as well, teaching all these people like coffee and stuff. And it's like, I hadn't really been a barista that long either in a cafe, but for some reason I can like put on a show and be like, this is what we're doing. And then at the end of the like classes, people would be like, thank you so much. Like that was so informative. Cool. It's like,
just naturally good at it.
So then me and Darren moved to Melbourne. I think he said that. But in the first week we were there, I was like, I don't want to be here.
Oh, really?
Like it's pretty much as soon as we got here, I was like, nah, this is not for me. And it was like my idea to move as well. Because I was like, I really want to like business, but you know, people were like, you're too young, So I was like, maybe if I like move country, then I will be able to like dampen my like what I want to do for a bit, just so I could like chill out and you know, kind of thing. So I stayed for like 3 months. I had like a few different jobs and I hated all of them.
Oh no.
They were all so boring. I was like, I hate all of you. Like so negative, but I was like, I hate this. I hate everything. But Darren had a good time. I ended up coming home early, and then I just got like a job in a bakery. And he stayed on for a bit longer. So I had actually been going to markets before Melbourne, like selling cakes and things. And then after that, I got back into that, and I pretty much got this job at a bakery, and I started looking for shops to lease straight away. So
How old were you then?
22, I was like 21.
21, right.
So any of the business stuff, like it's me. So like I'm the one who does like the payroll. I deal with like lawyers, accountants, business bankers, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm the behind the scenes person, like for like everything really.
And Darren's like, was he quite on the floor at the beginning? Is that kind of, or both of you are? Because you just
he was stop. Like along for the ride in the beginning.
And
then that's kind of when the two shops thing kind of started. So like I was always going to do a shop no matter who was there or who was around me, you know, like that's what I was doing. But that's kind of how it started.
With the market stuff. Were you doing that when you got back as well? Was that? Tell me about that. Like, how was that? Did you do it for long before you got a lease?
Oh, maybe like 6 months.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, wow. And was that Mint doing that? And then Mint got it? Yeah, okay.
So see, like risk-averse parents too, and like being young, they would like try and like infiltrate their opinion. It's like, I don't want it. But you know, like it did kind of influence me a bit too, because I'd be like, well, what if you get sick? Or what if this happens? It's like, I don't care. I'll figure it out at the time. So luckily, I think Darren kind of said about in his podcast that the Point Chef shop was like a super relaxed lease. Would never do that ever again either. You know, like it was literally a Hotmail email of our lease terms. And only a year. But I was like, this is so low risk that, you know, if anything happens, I can just move home, sell cakes at the markets, like work and like cover this rent. Like it's fine. So that was my way of taking a risk, but dealing with risk adverse people.
That's funny. I do love it though. Like, and you know, we talked about in his one, like you guys were just so young to do it. And like hearing your side of it, like, you know, because like my thing was Tim's like, how you got big enough balls to do this? But then like now hearing you, it's like, well, because you fucking told him to do it.
It's me. Hi.
That's actually what it is.
See, that's why I'm like, I have to come here and I don't want to diss Darren because I don't want to discredit what he's done too.
Exactly.
But like, I am the business brain.
And there's always that, right? Like we look at Claire and I, like this business wouldn't run without Claire. It wouldn't. Like the guys know, like as soon as Claire goes away for a week, I'm fucked. Like I'm eating takeaways. I'm up all night. I'm gaming all the time. I'm fucking useless. But it also, I'm the business. Like I do all the business stuff. And she does anything in behind the scenes that I need. But like we're both needed. But we have different roles. And so I don't think there's you're not discrediting anyone for being like, you know, Darren's,
The weird thing is though, I don't really get it anymore because like I don't take shit, and maybe because I'm a bit older too, is that like it was real sexist in the beginning. You know, sales reps would come in and talk to Darren. It's like he is going to do nothing. Like he's going to ask me first and then I'm going to approve it, you know, or like if I tried to go like and sort something and Darren was there too, they'd always talk to him. And like I noticed that at trade shows too when we were younger, like we were going there trying to spend like some money or something, you know, like getting new equipment, and they're going to talk to him. It's like, well, he's not going to pay you. Like it's going to be me. So
it is so much like that though.
But as I've got older, that is like diminished a bit, and also because I'm like quite fiery, so
just snap at them. But it's a thing, right? Like, and I think like sexist is right, but I think it's also just like ignorance and social dynamics, right? Like how many 21-year-old girls own a business like that? Like,
and it probably wouldn't even click in their brains. It's just what you're wired to be like, I'm going to talk to that guy about something, you know,
And look, it's wrong, but it's history, right? Like, like we talk about that with like, I got a couple of clients who work in with a lot of mid-tier businesses, baby boomers and things like that, who are like, they might be selling or whatever, and that's their clientele. And they're like 99.999% of them are men. Like there is no women who do this, like very, very few of them. And so we've just come from a world where like women didn't own the business. The husband did. You know, like without, this is going to sound real bad now, but like mine and Claire's relationship is like the 1950s couple sort of relationship.
See, I saw your TikTok video about that the other day. And like, as the more I watch your videos, the more I'm like, you have the same type of brain as me. But the difference is because you're the guy in the relationship, it's so much easier for you. And I'm finding now that because I also have a 2-year-old toddler, you know, like people are like, what are you at home? What are you doing? You know, so I'm like trying to do business. I have a kid, but I'm also like nearly in the stay-at-home mum kind of vibe, but it's so not me. But that's the difference too. Like, as soon as kids are involved, 100%. It's even worse.
Because you're a bad mum for not being home with them. You know, like that's the societal pressures of you.
And because my brain is like this, I'm like, I want to work all the time, but then it's like I want to be with my kid all the time, and it just doesn't. It doesn't mesh. So the last couple of years have been like a bit of a learning curve. But then also, you know, he's not young for long. So I do the best I can at both, and we'll just figure it out as I go.
I honestly, like when I see, I've got a couple friends who are in similar positions. Like my friend Anna Parker, the one who lives on like next to Ashley Flies, she's pregnant for her second child, and the first one's maybe 3 or something like that. But she's the same as you. Like she's the same as us. Like her brain does not stop. Like whenever she's here, her mouth doesn't stop either. She's just like go, 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 go. She's just like me. That's why we get along so well. But she's the same. Like she's just like, you know what, fuck them. Like everyone looks at her going, you know, the same thing. But we're in a world now where the gender doesn't matter. Like it did in the past. Like it was just with societal norms, but it's changing. The problem is that people aren't used to it yet. So they don't know how to respond right.
And it's funny because my life, I feel I'm so polarizing in my in what I want, because when I get too busy with work, I'm like, I just want to be a stay-at-home mum like in the old days, and like I want everyone to leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like at home, I'm so fucking bored. What am I gonna do? And then like my husband will be like, well, you don't stop. Like instead of like relaxing, you started this cookbook. It's like, yeah, well, so like that's just what I do. Like I don't have free time. I can't.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's me, and that's like the guys always tell me off for like the shiny objects. Like I'm always running off to do something else, and I now like I really do know that the cookbook side of stuff, like the shiny object stuff, which I'm not saying that is for you, but for me it would be, is like I'm having to say to the guys, oh no, we shouldn't be doing this. Like, and I have to go through Nate now, like to get that sort of stuff approved. Like my GM, like I'm like, he's my filter to the rest of the team. Like, I'm only allowed to go to the team directly on internal brand stuff, like any brand content, because that's my domain. But business-wise, he's like, don't fucking talk to them, Stan. Like, fuck off a few things. We already just cancelled a bunch of stuff that we were like areas of business we were going into. And it just was a waste of time. And he's like, stop.
It's so easy to spiral because it's like exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
you could make heaps of money doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time and energy to do it properly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, because me and Darren really want like a content space.
Yeah, same.
And so like we were looking like this week at a few like, places for lease and things. And then with all of the shops we've had, it's been like an instant yes, like lawyers signing leases within like a week. And so it's very certain, like we're so set on something. But we've like looked at a couple of things and we're like, this is fine, you know, but we're not doing big yeses. And then maybe it's finally an age thing too, where we can step back and be like, it's like, well, I'm having a kid. We're going into like the Christmas busy season. Darren's already burnt out. Like we're on like meltdown territory nearly every day. So we just need to like chill out and do what we're doing and like take out all the crap first. And then like there's always next year, like we can just like start fresh. And I forget that I'm about to have a kid and I'm like going to be really busy, but then it's like, no, I want this space. I want to do all of this content and have like a nice like like we were talking about all the like equipment before, because I'm like, I want it all because I want to do this right now.
But just for everyone watching, like 2 months away, just gonna have another kid. Like but I think like that is a good place to be in with business owners, like especially like you and I and the way our brains work, like because we know if we can envision it, we know it can happen. And so we just know, we just need to do these things. And whatever, like Claire always goes to me, he's like, what are those things? I was like, I don't know. I know this one. These ones will appear as I go. Like it'll happen. We'll figure it out. And so it's so easy to chase these things. Like even the ones that we've had to give up recently, I could have done them like easy. But because the agency's growing so rapidly, like it does just take up 16 hours of my day every day. And because we're doing all this, I mean, this is the third podcast this week for Stan's Blaney, because we're trying to get heaps on board before we go to New York for 2 months. I'm now at an age where I'm like, and I still check myself because I still get in trouble, but I have to be like, no, Stan, you got to stop. I did say to Darren, like, and I'll say this to you too, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I said, if you need spaces, like as we said, like as a thank you, just come and use this space. Like you guys come on the podcast, that helps. I told him just like bring it in here, like we'll do up a set and we'll just do it, and you guys can just use the studio.
That's so nice.
So that'll be cool. Okay. I am going to jump to something else that I want to ask about and about the studio. So let's just say you got it going. What are your visions of that? So like my whole career has obviously been hospo. And like most of the time I've been like, oh, this is so shit. Why do I have to like hospo? It's like such a low paying like sector. You can't charge $50 for a coffee. You know, like you'll never be able to. And now as like we're moving into this content space and everything is moving online, I feel like we're in the perfect position because everyone like cooks, everyone needs to like eat dinner. People love baking all over the world. And the easiest way to get through to people is through content. And so like if I had like a jewelry business or Darren was a plumber, you know, it's just not the same. Like you'd never get the same hits. And so that's why videos and content is so easy for a hospitality business. So now I'm like super excited. And like, this switch just like kind of flipped in my brain. And it's like,
we've never been into marketing.
Yeah.
And like my whole thing was like, if like Instagram and everything shut down the next day, we'd still have all of our customers walking through the door. Yeah. So it's quite cool that we have that like already.
Yeah.
But then now I'm like, like next thing now, like we're going to like really move into this content space because it is fun. It is like more worldwide, you know, kind of thing. So especially with baking.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, shit, yeah. So moving into that, what do you see it becoming? What would you like it to become?
Yeah, so people aren't really doing it in like Australia and New Zealand, but my favorite like UK person her name's like Cupcake Gemma on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
So
I haven't watched lots of it, but I know of,
Yeah, so it's literally just like recipe videos. Yeah. And then she's a bakery as well, so it kind of like works with that as well, and like a book. And so heaps of content. She's got like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. So it's just kind of that really.
Yeah, nice. And because when I was thinking about it, I was thinking like, do you watch Bon Appetit? Do you watch?
Oh, in the first lockdown, that's all I watched.
Yeah, because I like their style of content. What I loved about theirs is that they took cooking. They've got lots of really nice high production stuff. Yeah. But I like how they just did they did real YouTube-y stuff. Yeah. You know, like they did the ones with the chef and the celebrity had to turn around from each other, those sort of ones and things like that. And then what's her name? Claire.
Yeah, Claire Saffitz.
Claire Saffitz.
Baking and doing like Twix bars and and she would do intense videos on that.
Yeah,
and
the gourmet ones. Yeah. Oh yeah, like that stuff's cool. Yeah. Is that kind of, so I bring that up, is that like, because I haven't watched as much of the other lady, but is that kind of what it is, or is it just like real educational style, this is how you cook cooking videos?
Probably more technical. Yeah. Okay. And like, but like I do like that stuff too, but I just haven't really explored it because, you know, I've been so like, I don't know why I've never put my face to my business ever. Yeah. Something happened when I turned 30 and all of a sudden I was like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to do whatever I want. I don't even care what anyone says or thinks. Yeah. I'm just going to post what I want to post. Good. And so, like all my videos now, they're very like quick. I was saying before that like my toddler naps for an hour and a half in the day. Yeah. I try and quickly film a video. I like will edit it and post it before he wakes up. So I love it. It's all I can manage at the moment, but it's like better than nothing. And like it's still content right now.
Still more than most people.
Yeah. And people just like love knowing who you are. Like I'm a super nosy person as well. Yeah. So like, and the whole thing with TikTok especially is, you know, like people love relating to all these people and like actually figuring out who a person is behind a business. Yeah. You know,
absolutely. So, I think what you guys have done is so smart for like small New Zealand businesses, like especially putting your faces on it. Yeah. Like especially that you guys, like it's your brand, like your personal brands that are big, and people didn't just know that you have the cakery and the Ashby pies. I think it's so smart.
See, that's where like I started just under my name because I was like, well, you know, it's less pressure too. It was less pressure. I was just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah. And then obviously it's like great for business too because people come into the shop and be like, I see you on TikTok, I see you on Instagram. It's like, oh, that's so cool. And I never know what to say. I'm like, oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks. And it doesn't even make sense to how I reply. And then I get all weird and I was like, look away.
It is weird when people come up. I get a lot when I go to networking events with like 55-year-old business guys who will follow me, and like it's cool because I love it because that's what I did. That's what was my point of it. But like I don't know who you are, but cool. They're like, oh, hey Stan, I loved your post yesterday. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, which one was it? I can't remember. Yeah, I wrote that a month ago.
It's like kind of freaky, but it's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it is cool. I think that if you get into this sort of stuff and you're not okay with that, then you got to get out of it because it will happen. Yeah, I was watching. I don't know if you've seen Mr. Beast's new interview with Colin Samir, but he talks about like the levels of like followership and how crazy it gets. And he was like, you know, when you get to 1 million, it's like maybe every 5 or 6 times you go out, someone will be like, oh, hey, you're Mr. Beast. That's cool. Can we get a photo? And he's like, when you hit to 10 million, he's like, someone would see it and you'd get a photo with them and then 20 people would be lined up to get photos every time you go out. And he's like, once you hit 100 million, he's like, you can't go out. Yeah. He's just like, you get swamped everywhere you go. He's just like, I can't go anywhere. Yeah. Like, and you're sitting in his warehouse in North Carolina. He's like, I don't leave here. Like, I live here. I don't leave here. Like, I just can't go anywhere without security because the place shuts down. Mental.
He is like next level though.
Yeah.
But it's insane. Like, he's nuts.
Nah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy. What I love about him, though, like when you listen to a story and the guy from Night Agency, I should really find out his name because I did this yesterday too. But his business manager, and actually I was just looking at their agency this morning, like the business manager who taught him the business side of it, because he doesn't have the brain like you do. He's just got the content creative side. But as soon as he got the business guy with him, and that business guy was like, I'll get you the money to do the things you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
And then that changed everything. And that's when he went from like just astronomically, like was building by like 10 million followers a week. Oh, not a week, like every couple of months.
Ruthless, eh?
That's so good.
Especially because he was like spending every cent that he was making.
Oh, he still does.
Yeah.
Still does. I mean, the main channel itself is still running at break even.
Yeah.
And like
He's
$4 million a video.
Yeah, nuts. He's obviously having fun though.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the whole point of it in the end, right? Like,
oh, he's having the best time.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just crashed a train into a pit the other day. Like, that video was stupid. Like, why did he do that? Just crashed the whole train. That would have cost him $1 million just to buy the train.
Nice.
Anyway, off topic, but YouTube, so more technical.
Yeah.
Is it because you've only thought that far, or do you have plans on going? For you, is it about getting like the YouTube channel or whatever just as big as possible, like a Mr. Beast approach, or is it just, no, I want a thing that is a real technical channel, that's the thing I want?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of starts off as like, I really want like more of like a lifestyle business.
Cool.
Obviously I want to scale it, but you know, like Brookie's Bakehouse, you know, she's killing it, but she is working so hard 7 days a week, all day. Like when I see her videos being like, I've made 5,000 cookies, it's like, that makes me want to cry. Like, I don't want to do that. And like,
have you seen the size of the shop? It's like the size of this room.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went there when we were in Brisbane. I was like, is this it? Like,
yeah, I saw that video. But like, it's so cool what she's doing. But
it's amazing.
Also, I don't know, is she having fun? How many times a day is she crying?
Yeah.
You know, like how many meltdowns a week? I just see it and I'm like, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
And like scaling a bakery like that. Yeah, you can like hire staff and things, but it's still like a lot of effort, you know, like dealing with more people and like, especially in hospitality, your busiest days are Saturday and Sunday. It's like, I want like a nice lifestyle. Yeah. But say posting videos, I would actually love like a baking school if it was like online, maybe in person as well, teaching in-person classes. And then so, you know, people can buy a course, but I've already filmed the course. It's already there, all ready to go. Yeah. You know, if I post a few videos about it and then people sign up to like these classes, then, you know, it's a bit more passive.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, because like, like if we use the Brookie Bakehouse story, it's hard in those situations because the profit margins aren't always there to pay you and a GM or another person to run it. So it's just not there, right? Yeah. We know that. So that's hard. The content model or the media company model, which essentially is what you're saying, right? Build a media company that has products it sells. There are a couple of ways, like a lot of people like go in going, oh, the course thing's like a good thing. Like it's a real low, well, it's not low effort. It's a high effort up front, but then it's low effort long term. The issue you usually see with those guys doing that is like it has a real like it has like this sort of growth. Like it goes up really fast and then like people go, oh, that's an old course. Yeah. Like there is a thing in the mindset of people, so you have to then refresh it all the time.
I think that's where baking is good for like e-commerce and things, because you know, like the technical skills will never change in 5 or 10 years. You know, like you need to know the basics first. And it's interesting you say media company, because that reminds me of like, do you watch like Gary Vee and things like that? So that's what clicked in my brain too. I've been listening to his podcast for so long and I just like everything goes over my head. But then one day he was like, no matter what, you're a media company first and then your second is like what you specialize in. So it's like, that's 100%. And then for some reason now I'm just like, I am a media company. I'm starting this media business. So that's like kind of what we've been doing. Yeah.
100% you're a media company. Yeah, I agree with it. And like to your point about like the technical skills and stuff, like I agree with you, but the way, like if you just watch the behavior of consumers in this space, they'll always find the newest thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And so it like because a lot of people get into trouble here because they go, oh no, like I make it once, this stuff is going to be timeless. Everyone's going to need to know how to make this sort of type of cake or do this technical thing. But they're like, yeah, but then someone else is going to blow up on TikTok and make a course, and now their one's the one that people are going to buy, and yours will get ignored.
Yeah.
And so like there's like this real drop off on it. It's quite good in the early days to pay for growth. So like I would go, rather than thinking, oh look, I make it once, it becomes this passive thing that we can just keep pushing forever. But there will be a natural tail off. That's kind of what happens. And unless you want to become an educational place, which you might, which is fine.
Which I do.
Yeah, and so that's fine. Then you just keep redoing it. So don't get into the mindset of like, I make this once, I have it forever. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, that's a good thing about baking too, is that like with trends and things, you know, like you can always keep it fresh. There's so many things that people want to know and learn, and
it'd be quite cool. Like you make it cool. Like if you had the production studio, you know, someone like say Brookie Bakehouse blows up, and then you go, I made a course on how to make Brookie Bakehouse cookies. Like, but not that. But you know what I mean. Like you could run off the trends that are on. Yeah. You know, like there was that chick who did the she was an Australian too, right? The one who did the cartoon cakes.
Oh yeah, Tigger. Mac or whatever. Yeah, she's real Australian.
Yeah, real. Okay, yeah. And she did those cakes, and they blew up for ages, and then everyone else sort of copied. You could like jump on those trends and like make short courses on how to do that. Yeah. But the other thing I was going to get into with like media companies is like when you properly make media companies, like if you take Bon Appetit as an example, like they make stupid money from people just giving like sponsoring them, just like show sponsors, like, and they are part of it. They are a massive media company. Like they're, you know, they got full sales teams and stuff.
Yeah, media first, then food.
Yeah. And so it's a sales engine that they have that brings in those deals. Yeah. But those deals are huge. Like, you know, like I've heard of people at like big media companies here in New Zealand, like the big guys, like the MediaWorks and stuff, getting like $80,000 sponsorship for a 12 episode. What was it? I'm not going to say her name, but like the lady you brought in for a podcast, how many? 12 episodes, eh? 14, something like that. 12, 14 episodes. And it was like 80 grand. Sponsorship, no listeners, because it was brand new.
Shame. Yeah.
No, I mean they did, I think, get some of the launch it, but what I'm saying is they started with zero,
and they still got the sponsoring.
And they still got the money. Wow.
It was a brand new podcast, and the host isn't even that famous. Like, you know, it's not, you know, I'm definitely not saying it on camera. But it's not like, you know, it's not like say Jazz Thornton coming in with 3 million people and that she can boost anything she does, right? Of course, it makes sense. But this person's like not known, but not as well known as you are.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me off camera.
Yeah, I will. But like, I mean, she's great. She's amazing. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's crazy what big media companies can do. Yeah. Because they have the sales engine. Yeah. And so I guess I'm saying that is like, if you go down the production house phase, it's like what we are doing right now is starting to build the sales team out. Because we too want the media company, because we already are a media company. Yeah. We're already putting out shitloads of media. How do I get someone to sponsor Stands Planning? I don't have the energy to go out and do that. But like, how do you hire people so you don't have to do that part of it? Like you just go, mate, you're my BDM, go bring in sponsorships. Every video goes out needs $5,000. Like, you know, whatever it is, you know, you need those sponsors. That then scales up way faster than the core stuff, because the core stuff is constantly having to reinvent itself. Whereas like sponsors, like everyone, if you've got a brand and people are watching, people will pay you. Yeah. Especially if you get YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely where it's at.
Yeah, yeah. Can you tell me, with your audience, just speaking of this is quite an interesting topic. Is it Kiwis? What's the split?
I had never looked either until I saw you ask Darren. I was like, I've got no idea. Yeah. So I think it's like maybe 30% Kiwis and 20% Oz, and then the rest is like US. Yeah. But
30% is huge.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. Ours is 4 or 5%.
Yeah. I think it's because we're also like a real classic Kiwi person. Like I talk in super Kiwi slang. I don't change it to be proper for like social media. So it's that. We're like that kind of vibe as well. So we definitely stay within like New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah. And you've got the physical location, which I think people, like I said, everyone I know who I've talked about there, and they were like, oh yeah, I know Mint Cakery. Yeah. They all know that. Yeah. And not as many people know HB Pies. So I think because you've got such a good following as a bakery and just in general customers,
maybe
that's why the people are like, oh, that's
I think
the bakery.
I think it makes us like a bit more credible.
Yeah.
Like I always see things now and I'm like, I take little bits out of podcasts and someone said, you know, doing things in your brand that like creates authority.
Yeah.
So even not in like an aggressive way, but it's like having a shop gives you like credibility.
Yeah.
You know, having followers on Instagram and TikTok. Like I actually don't care about the numbers or the followers, but you know, it like makes us like more credible. And then even same with like having a book, you know, it's just kind of like rounding off, you know,
it's building the brand, right? It's part of your personal brand, like the book in which you jump into. Is like,
literally,
you're an author now, right? Like that's a whole thing. Like author still holds such a big weighting for people.
Which is surprising considering how
easy it is to do one.
Yeah. That's the funny thing too. You know, like I've self-published this and people will be like, congrats on your book. It's like, why? I like paid the money, used the right people and like here it is.
Yeah, I didn't get a $4 million publishing deal. Like it's
and see, it's so weird because publishers take so much money. Like
massive.
And you don't need a publisher in this day and age. Like I've literally I kind of started TikTok at the same time.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a panic because like we didn't use like social media.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one knows me. No one's going to buy this book.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll just post some videos so people like get to know me, and I'd do that. Like if I followed someone and they had a book out, I was like, yeah, I'll buy your book.
Yeah.
This was definitely a passion project though. Like I never kind of expected to make money out of it.
Yeah.
I have this like really embarrassing like it's like I've written it in the front of this too. I have this green book where I have written all of my ideas for the past like 15 years.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing.
Nah, it's great.
But for some reason, I found it when we were moving house. Like we moved house when my kid was 4 days old. It was so stupid. But anyways, I found this book like a few months later.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't even think about it now. But so it was like a timeline of what I wanted to do. And it was like 2016 was like my first cookbook will be out. You know, 2018 I'll have a second cookbook, and it's so embarrassing because I was like, and I'll like tour Australia with it, and I'll go around with like all my books and be an author and stuff. And I was like, this is always what I've wanted to do. And like I'm 5 years behind. I'm going to do it now because it'll probably be the one thing I would regret not doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I actually talked to some publishers, and they were like, so this is 2021.
Yeah.
So my kid was 5 months old.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Like I should have just gone to sleep. But I had talked to some publishers and they were like, yeah, we can like do a book for you, but it won't be out until 2023. And I was like, 2 years? It's ages. Funny. No, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And then like it took me so long. I was like, here we are, 2023 getting released. So I was like, yeah, like you were right. Like it's a lot of work, but got there.
Yeah.
And like, you don't even need a publisher anymore. I am a publisher. I want to do a book for Darren.
Yeah, good.
So
you should. That would be funny.
Yeah, I want. The thing is that I want it out by Christmas next year for him. And so I've already given. See me, I'm behind the scenes. Like I've given him an outline of like what he needs to do for me to like get this like rolling, so we can have it kind of done by March.
Yeah.
He hasn't done it yet. And then he'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then he hasn't. It's like,
call him out to the camera.
Call him out.
Yeah.
Fucking desert.
Like, do your work, man.
Yeah. Like, stop cooking, eating pies, bro.
What are you doing? Sitting at home? Like, come on.
I love it.
But yeah, so it's fun. Like, for some reason, I've turned into, like this media person. Now I'm like a publisher as well.
That's awesome.
But,
that's honestly, that's so cool. Like, I think writing books are like when you get to that level and you get it and it's successful and you do it well, like it's just such a great thing to have on any brand, especially as business owners. Like it's a bit different if like, Joni will probably tell me, but if you're like Joni, like who's a creator first and foremost, like it's not as big of a deal. It might be later if it's her memoirs or something like that. That's cool. Like I'd read that sort of shit. But like as a business owner from an authority standpoint, because if you go on to be a media company and people are like, who is this person? Like, oh, well, she's a published author. She does all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. Then straight away people are like, oh, I should follow. Like, oh, I should watch. Oh, she is worth learning how to cook from because of this.
Yeah, it's just the authority.
Yeah.
And see, I thought I wanted the cred from being in bookstores and, you know, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, it's literally happened. It's in bookstores. And I have never said a single word about it.
Yeah.
Being like online about it. And like I went into Wickhills and I saw all the books and I was like, I don't know why. Like that's like not even my flex anymore. like my thing that I can actually sell it myself. I can
that's cool.
Control what I do. You know, like I'm not listening to the man.
I love that. How has like, I mean, you don't have to give all the way details, but how has it gone from a sales perspective so far? Because how long's it been out? 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So I did like quite a big pre-order.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
okay, cool.
Drive.
Yeah.
And that was mostly because like the whole like I've got a kid, you know, I don't have time.
Yeah.
I need like this time to send out all these books.
Yeah.
Like myself. So I had no idea how many I'd sell. Yeah. So I printed 3,000.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite a lot when you look at it in like pallets. Like
3,000 books is huge.
Massive. So and the pre-orders sold like 750.
Oh, awesome.
Have like keep selling like 10 a day at the moment. Like if I post a video, someone will like order a book.
That is huge.
Kind of thing. Yeah. And then
that's like 750 from a pre-order is like probably 10 times what most self-published books do for pre-order. You know what I mean? Like it's huge. Unless they're like a million following, it's different.
Yeah. I think if I didn't do all this TikTok stuff, I probably would have sold like 100 pre-orders.
Yeah, of course.
And it would have been to like customers that come into the shop. So
of course, but that's the point, right? You built a brand.
Crazy how different it went because of this like kind of grind of the past year.
What does it sell for?
45.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
So,
and what does it cost? Like, do you mind sharing the cost of what it costs to produce one? Like, so people know. $16. Yeah, because that's not cheap. Like, as a profit margin, like.
So, yeah.
Because you still got shipping. Oh, you probably charge for shipping?
No, charge for that.
Oh, you charge for shipping.
Yeah, so like bookstores have obviously bought like, I don't even know, like, because I'm using a distributor for those ones.
Yeah.
So like the distributor has 1,000 of my books. I know one of the bookstores has bought like 500 books kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they take such a big cut.
Yeah.
So I have to sell 1,200 books first to make the money back. So that's why I'm like, it's a passion project.
Yeah.
It was quite fun. But also, like, I love photography.
Yeah.
You couldn't even tell because my videos, I have to make them so quickly. I just literally, I say I don't have the time. I actually don't, but also because I choose to spend my time other places right now. I just need to like focus on what I'm doing. But like for Darren's book, I really want to do all the photography for it.
Oh, nice.
And so that was probably like, that was a real big chunk of it, using a food stylist.
Yeah.
And then.
It's a whole different thing, food photography. Yeah.
So for Darren's book, it probably would be profitable because I've made all my mistakes in this book. Yeah. But it's always like a learning curve, right? You have to like make mistakes first and then figure it out and move on and do it better the next time.
Yeah.
So.
How many hours do you think's gone into that book?
Oh,
because that's another thing. But that's an interesting one to think about, right? Like, because people, the reason why is like you've done it for the right reasons. There's authority and it's passion. So that's right. But like I hear a lot of people like wanting to do a book because they're like, some people think it's a way of making money, which is stupid. But like, but actually the time that goes into it, they're easy to do these days. Like I'm using quotation because it is easy.
Yeah.
It's just
a process.
Work.
Yeah.
Like, what do you reckon? Like if just like ballpark figure, what do you reckon you put in it? It's 2 years. So it must have been a shitload of hours.
Oh,
how many hours a week do you reckon? On average?
I reckon like if I did it in half the time, it would have been like a full-time job, you know, like probably 35 hours a week kind of thing. Like it's
so it's about 2,000 hours.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah,
and
1,800.
Even like if I don't post a video on a certain day, it's because I'm spending my toddler's lunch nap packing books. So it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
But see, I feel like quite privileged because I've done like quite a lot of hard grind over like the early years. I can literally do things in like the business for fun. Like even though this is work, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, it's kind of sad being like, this is fun, like packing orders because at the
but
time
it's
I'm
a passion project for you, this thing, right? Like, of course, like that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, you wouldn't have got it done.
Yeah.
Like if it was work, you would have turned off from it.
You just can it and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that was a dumb shiny object I shouldn't have been following. Yeah, but it is important to think about because, like, you know, that's like maybe cost in labor cost like 90, 100 grand.
This to make 50
grand.
Yeah, 50 grand.
But yeah, so like, well, even that. Well, you just said if you worked for a year, it would have been full time. But you're worth more than 50 grand a year.
Yeah, but like the sales too. Like I could get more books printed, and like hustle and
No. Yeah. No, of course, like the back end, like you could do heaps, but I mean, like for people listening. Like, like it's.
You wouldn't do this one thing for the year and make 50 grand kind of thing.
No, like you need to, unless you're going to sell, 1 million copies, like you're not going to.
When I was doing this too, I was just thinking of people that, like Nadia Lim and Chelsea Winter and all them, they used to sell so many books. It's like their first book probably wasn't the best, or Annabelle Langbein is like a classic New Zealand like foodie. Like no one goes to her first book and is like, this is the best one she's done, even though she's done like 20. So I was like, this is fun. This is like my learning curve.
Yeah. And actually like the cookbooks, like the guys who put out cookbooks all the time, like it's like when you put out a video and one goes viral, the rest all sell. The rest all go off too. It's the same with cookbooks and things like that. Or even just books. Like you put out enough, any novels, whatever, you put out one cracks it and then people are like, oh, I got to read the whole back catalogue. Because I want to know. I mean, like I find that with all the authors I'll find, like I'll read like say Seth Godin when I first read his. This is marketing. I read every single Seth Godin book. I was like, I'm going to read the whole thing. And I bought all of them. You know what I mean? So this is what you do. If you make one that's good and it pops off, the others don't have to be at that level if it's the most recent one and you're really good at it now, but people still buy it because they want to see it all.
The funny thing is though, is like, I don't want to say I'm sick of it now, but like I've done all the work. I'm like, I'm kind of sick of it now.
Yeah. Now it's just the admin.
And so
we are way too similar.
And that's like it's the same with like me and Darren doing like we did quite a lot of shops, like he said about how we did one, sold it kind of thing. We like love the process and it's like you get like an adrenaline hit, like it's so fun. And then once you're into the grind, you're like, what are we going to do next? And so that's like how we've always been super busy, but that's why we're kind of doing like a full circle of, we're going to stick to these businesses. We're going to take out all of like the bullshit and then we're just going to do the good stuff and we're going to like also have a nice life on the side. But see, I don't want to talk about Darren too much because like it's not the Darren show, but his like we used to, before the whole like COVID thing, Ashby was going to be like a cafe. I don't know why. Like I'm not like a cafe. I hate that thing. And so I think Darren said a little bit about how like we're making sandwiches and things. And so I was like, stop doing sandwiches. Like, what are you doing? Like, just do like pies and things. And like it was in his head, but he was too scared to cut the sandwiches. And he posted this TikTok video of him making like this chicken dish at home. And I messaged him and I was like, oh, I forgot you were actually like a chef and you could cook well and you were like more than just a salami sandwich. And it really offended him. And he was like, oh my God. And that's what made him click. And then all of a sudden he stopped making sandwiches. It's like, thank God. And now his like tagline is like more than just a salami sandwich.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that. That's funny.
Just like bully him, be like, what are you doing? Like, stop.
That's so good.
Yeah.
All right. So book-wise, it's going well. You talked about making Darren's book, and I'm assuming it's a pie book. It would be the first one.
Yeah, probably like a bakery.
Like savory goods.
Savory.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You kind of have to capitalize on the brand right now. How do you go to a second book?
Yeah. See that I'm so like sick of it. I'm like, another one. Like, I would definitely do another sweet book because this is mostly like cakes and donuts and like brioche. So there's still like another whole thing that I didn't put in this book. So there is like tarts, desserts, like stuff like that. And I have a whole heap of like winning recipes I love that are ready for a second book. But I don't know. I was even thinking it'd be cool to do like a 10-year book kind of thing, like of our 10 years in business.
So, like a memoir style book, like a
like still recipes and stuff, but maybe like I've done my book, we'll do Darren's book, and then in a couple of years maybe do like a book together of like everything, like still recipes and stuff.
Still recipes, but like stories. Like have you read Stanley Tucci's book?
Nah.
You know Stanley Tucci?
I don't read books.
Stanley Tucci's book is so good. I'll show you when we leave.
Oh, yeah?
It's actually fucking such a good book. So
He's
Stanley
cool
Tucci,
though,
right? So it's his whole life, but it's at moments in time he shows you the recipe because like he's real big into cooking, and he's got the full recipes in there, but they're just like random shit his mum would make or his nan would make or he would make or whatever. And so he tells you this like epic story of like, and he's hilarious. So like it's this funny story, and then he gives you the recipe for what it is. And I was just like, it was such a cool book to read because like you were so hooked into the story, you forgot you're reading a cookbook.
Yeah.
Like I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
I read the whole thing through. Like who reads a cookbook from cover to cover? Yeah. I mean, no one does that. You just go and I want to make this and like, let's do that. I read it from cover to cover. It's such a good book.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I have to
that would be a cool way to do it for you guys later on. You should read it because it's actually a very, very good book. I mean, it blew up. He sold stupid amounts of it too because it was so good. Yeah. Like it actually was really well written.
That is cool.
But that would be quite cool. So, okay. So third books are still kind of on the way. Content. Oh, you go.
I don't think like we're not going to be, publishers. And especially because like books, hardcover, all that media, magazines are dying. You know, I'd rather focus on online things. But I was like, I want to do a book before.
Books aren't dying.
Nah.
But
see, like
books are not dying, especially cookbooks as well.
The
market for them's growing, if anything.
Yeah. And people do love like a hard copy, especially in the online space where you don't
get
it
it's
as
more
much.
than just a book, hey?
Yeah,
like
way
a cookbook.
more.
Because it's like it's like a I don't know what you call it. Like you put it in your kitchen, you're like, wow, that's sick, like art kind of.
Yeah. I agree.
And that's why I wanted like an amazing photographer for this because like people treat it as like a picture book too, even if they don't make a single thing. You just flick through all the time.
Yeah.
But
books are not dying. Yeah. Magazines are dying.
Magazines are dead.
They're dead. They're gone. There's very few magazines going.
I feel like they have no credibility anymore. Like when we first started, like my goal would have been to like be in a magazine. It's like I could not give a shit. Like,
I know. Can you imagine you on cover of Women's Day? That's what they used to do, right?
And it's just a whole heap of old people being like, "This is what I think is relevant." It's like, nah. Done. Like Women's Weekly with like the royals on the front. Who cares?
No one. The thing I think if you're going to do magazines, I think some of the smartest ones are like they'll do like a media company will own a magazine. They'll put a bunch of ads in it to cover publishing costs, and then they just get it into everywhere. They like put it into hotel rooms. They'll put it, they'll just go, we'll give it to you for free. It's a really great magazine, but it's literally just a front to get them to go to everything else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like Opes Partners, the guys who do, you might not even know that world, but like they are property guys, and they own the Informed Investor magazine, and they bought it. They're like they sell apartments, new build apartments, right? Yeah. So they're like property investor guys, and they bought this magazine called Informed Investor. Actually, it was called Juno when they bought it. Changed the name. It makes no money. They know it doesn't, but they own a magazine, and they can put themselves in it as many times as they want, and then they can also sell advertising to push it everywhere.
It's like creating authority.
Yeah, and they can do whatever they want because they own it, but it's not attached to their brand. People know if you know.
Yeah.
But like, it's this another brand that people are like, and the Opes Partners are in there again. Like, that sort of stuff's smart where it's just
being
like,
seen, so then you're everywhere.
You're just everywhere. Yeah. And they've also got one of the biggest podcasts in New Zealand, a property podcast. They got a big TikTok, they got a big Instagram, YouTube, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. But like you got to be a property investor. You're a business person, so like, like you're like me, like a fucking, only reason I know about them is because heaps of our clients are in that sector.
Yeah.
I'd rather follow business people, but it's New Zealand, right? Everyone wants to buy a fucking house here, so they'll follow those guys, so they're real big. But otherwise, magazines are gone. Like, there's no point. But books, like I think books are cool. Like I've actually got to catch up in a week or two with a girl that I know who they ghostwrite or help people write books.
Oh yeah.
And I've been talking to her for ages about it. I just said, like, I have no idea what I'd ever write about.
Yeah.
So she's just said to me, okay, like, we're just going to sit down and I'm just going to coach you through this. And over the next 6 months, we're going to figure it out. And then next year, we're going to write it. And she's doing it, obviously, because I'm going to pay her heaps of money to do it.
Yeah.
But she's just like, you won't know what you need to write because you don't know what you know. You don't know what is really good information inside your head because you just know it.
Yeah.
You don't realize how good you are at certain things because you just do them.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with like baking too. I don't actually realize how technical I am until someone's like, this recipe's hard. I'm like, what do you mean? You just throw it together. But yeah, it's the same for you, like creating authority, making a book. But see, like I can't read books and my brain doesn't like stay on the page. And it's the same when I watch a movie. If there's something where it's like something's happening and the suspense, I'll like quickly Google what happens. I spoil everything. And if I read a book, I'll read the last page. I don't know why, but that's
You've been diagnosed with ADHD.
Nah. And like I don't need to. Like,
you don't need to. You know you got it.
Yeah. And like it doesn't do me bad anyway. So I'm like, I'm just gonna roll with this.
There's nothing wrong with ADHD.
But see, like
it gives you hyper focus.
Yeah.
You can only focus on this thing, but you can go all in on it.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, like, because I obviously watch your videos. And what is it? You play like Assassin's Creed in your spare time. Is that because it's like so overstimulating? It is the only way to get your brain to move away from work.
100%.
So see, I like that's how it keeps your attention. I couldn't go for a walk and like just relax and think about the trees.
Claire
and
hates
how
going for a walk with me.
Yeah.
Because I just start talking business to her. And she's like, shut up. Like, we're outside in nature. So why are you talking about cash flow?
I can't help it. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll be like, I need to go back to sleep. And then I just start thinking about work.
Yeah.
And like this morning I woke up an hour extra. Like I'm real tired now, but I didn't go back to sleep because I was just thinking about work-related things.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's why I play. That's why I have to play. And like this week, this Saturday, I'm going to have to play so much because I've like gone from like, no, I've literally gone from like a week on holiday, which was like real overstimulating, right? Like, so like we proposed on Thursday too. And so we had this whole weekend, it was this whole thing. And then.
Could you relax on holiday?
This holiday I did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of messages coming in here.
Yeah. I mean, because there was, I like message people, that's not even I don't even think I did anything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I didn't even talk to the guys while I was away.
Yeah.
And these guys like, this
it's
guy
like
won't
200 messages. Yeah.
And like, for me, I was like, I didn't even message them, right? I was like, fuck, it was so good. I didn't even talk to the team when I was away.
But it's such a relaxing holiday doing nothing work related.
Yeah. So I was able to switch off, especially from Thursday once we got to Queenstown, because like Thursday, my whole brain was like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. Like I'm actually fucking to do this thing. And then we spent the whole weekend, which was real nice, just actually switched off, enjoying each other's time. Because we knew that it was going to come back to this. Yeah. And we knew that we were going to run into October 5th where we fly to New York, that I have to do like 10 to 12 new sales in this 10-week period. I have to, like, so that we can pay for New York. So I've got like a massive calendar. It's like just jacked, and I've got to bank all these bloody podcasts up, and then I've got 2 months in New York. And so I knew I had to have some time off. And anyway, I hit the ground running this week, and I've just been 7 in the morning here every morning, and I've been leaving at 10. I mean, that's only 2 days, but I'll do it again today. Yeah. And I'll do it forever. But Saturday, I'm already, because I went from that holiday to this, like today I'm fucked. Yeah. Like I'm so fucked. Like I'm going to get to the end of today. Tomorrow I got some time booked out of my calendar, but like Saturday I'm just going to have to play games. Like I'm just going to have to, I mean, there's new Mario Kart courses. I don't know if Connor's played them yet, but I just have to play because my brain's fucked. Like I can't shut it off. Yeah.
But so you switch to something else that's super overstimulating as well, because it's the only way you can not think about it.
And you know what? Like, it's overstimulating in that there is lots happening, but it's mindless stuff. Yeah. So it is definitely overstimulating, but it's like say Assassin's Creed, like when you actually play a game like that, there's this big open world and you're just ticking off tasks that don't really require a lot of brain power. Like that.
Just like those games where people drive trucks and things. Yeah. And it's like my husband literally drives a truck every day, and like he'll play these stupid games. It's like, you do that in real life. Bro. Why is this fun?
The trucking industry is crack up that they all drive trucks all day and then go trucking simulators at night. It's so
random.
Funny. I love it. Weird. We talked to a trucking company recently about like from a recruitment perspective to run their TikTok, and I was like, we just make a trucking simulation TikTok, and they will all watch you because they all play, and all your guys will like submit their videos from them playing the trucking simulator, and you'll have the biggest account on TikTok. And then they didn't go off it because they're like, this is stupid, we're a fucking important trucking company. I was like, bro, all your truck drivers play trucking simulator, every single one of them.
So random, eh? And then it's like, it's just,
but it is like a good thing, like when it's stimulating that there's lots there because there's such a simulation of a world, but like the actual tasks involved of getting the game forward aren't that complicated. Like, you know, like
you're just filling your thumbs and that's it.
Yeah, that's it. You're not having to really think. It's not real competition or nothing like that. Like you're just doing shit.
And you're like
relaxed.
But see, this is kind of where it comes into the thing when I commented on your post being like, why can't you just do something for fun? And it's because I can't do anything for fun. You know, like if you have...
That's why I commented back, because I was like, what? Look at your life.
And the thing is that like, you know, someone who's working like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then have like a food page. And, you know, it might be fun for them to get sent some free stuff. That's their perk, because then if they start getting paid for ads, you're like working for someone, and it's like work. It's like, you know, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, I can't do anything for fun. Because I'm going to turn it into a business. And the weird thing is that I'm not even money hungry.
Yeah.
I just do these things.
Yeah. You can't help but see the financial outcomes. The thing I think about when I talk to people about how do you monetize it and stuff like that, and is that they've told me I want to only do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you don't understand that if you only want to do this, you've got to make money from it because you've got to live. What I kind of really want people to realize is like, because Claire's a good example. Claire loves playing golf. Like, it's her thing. She just loves golf. And my brain just went to, we can make so much money if you playing golf. Like, we can do this whole thing. She's like, fuck off, Stan. I just want to play golf, right?
Yeah.
And so I said to her, okay, but then I guess what you've got to realize is that, like, it is a fun activity. You can't just always do it. Like, you can just do it when you can, and when you can, appreciate that time. But don't make it a thing of like, oh, all I want to do is play golf. Because, okay, well, the only way to only play golf all the time is to make money from it.
Yeah.
Because you have to live. And I need you to help out around here and do stuff here. But if you're not making money there, then you need to be here. And I think I think it was the comment on Matakai Foods one. Yeah. And like, even with her, like, I was trying to get her to maybe realize that actually maybe I wasn't right. She wasn't right to go full in on this and maybe make it a career. And I kind of say that to make them just check themselves and go, like, and later on when I'll talk to them, I was like, like, there's a lot you got to do here to make this work.
Yeah.
Like, are you
but see,
ready for
it turns into a job. Yeah. Like, it is a job.
Yeah.
But see, like, a lot of these content creators too aren't making the money beforehand. Like, me and Darren already have a business, and now this is what we're doing next. But then they have the following, and then they're trying to make a business out of their following. So it's like the flip of that.
Oh, it is. It's so the flip. But like, I think you guys and like us as an example, like, we're this unique special case. They're like, because we sit in the middle. There's business owners who don't ever put money into brand. They just sales. That's all they do. And then there's the creators who only do brand and have no way of doing any sales.
Yeah.
And then there's us in the middle who have like, we've got a business that drives the brand.
Yeah.
That pays for the brand to build.
Yeah.
Which is great. Lots of people, like both these people, want to be here.
They're trying to figure it out.
And so, like, to these guys, you have to say to them, like, the only way to do it is to work as much as I do.
Yeah.
And go hard and sell everything. Or just realize this is a hobby.
Yeah.
And if it's okay to have hobbies. Some people play touch. Some people go for walks. Some people knit. You make content. That's okay. And if you get a couple bucks along the way, cool.
Yeah.
And then these guys here, it's like, if you want brand, it's going to cost you $100,000 a year to make all the stuff that you got to do. Like, do you know how expensive my time is? Like, if you have to replace me to come and make all your content, it's going to cost you a fortune.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, these guys don't want to give up their time and these guys don't want to give up their money. And so I like, just like, I try to highlight that stuff because I like a lot of people just going, this is too much. It's like, that's fine. It's okay. You don't have to be us crazy fuckers in the middle.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, this is all we do.
Yeah. And like, see, I find time a really interesting subject too, because, when people are like, oh, I don't have enough time. It's like, well, you do. Are you making the sacrifices somewhere else in your life to create that time, like, available to build your brand or whatever, Yeah. So, like, when people don't have time, sometimes they're like, I finish work at 5 o'clock and until 10 o'clock, that is, I'm just going to do whatever. But in my head, I'm like, well, I've got 5 hours to do some work and stuff. Like, this is heaps of time. So it's just different.
It's just different how people, like, it's that whole thing of like, I mean, we're both still really young in the scheme of things, and especially in business, that I know that if I just go hard till I'm 50, I'll have all the time back I want. Yeah. So, and I'll still work stupid amounts then, but I'll be able to I won't have to chill out doing Assassin's Creed like I can. I don't know.
But see, like...
chill out my yacht,
Are you having fun now?
Yeah, I love it.
And you enjoy your life?
I fucking love my life.
Well, that's the game, right? That's what you want.
And I know that I won't be able to give this level of effort forever. I know that I'm not naive to that, but like, I've got 20 years left of this easy. Yeah. I've gone this hard, and then I'll probably scale it back to maybe only doing 50 hours a week instead of 100.
just a chill 50.
Yeah, just a chill 50. Yeah. I mean, I would get so bored only doing 50 hours a week. Yeah. Like, I don't ever expect the guys to do 16-hour days like I do every day. Yeah. And, even like, talked to Connor yesterday. He's like, there's an after hours. We didn't finish till 6 last night. And it's like, mate, just make up the time. Like, you tell me when you're going to make up the time. Yeah. That's fine. So I don't expect them to do long hours, but like for me, like I would get bored if I was only doing an 8-hour day.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait, what? Like, what am I going to do? Like,
it's like a half day.
Yeah, fucking 100%. It's a half day. It's like going home at lunch.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what the fuck are we doing with my life? And even on weekends, like I definitely know I need the Assassin's Creed when I need it. Like I just know I need it, and I know I'm unproductive if I don't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like sharpening your tools, right? You just got to do it. But yeah, I'd get so bored.
I find too, though, this is a massive generalization, but like chicks don't have hobbies. You know, like if you go around, I did at the shop, I was like to all the girls, I was like, what are your hobbies? Like, like don't put me on the spot. Like, I don't know, I don't have any hobbies. But then like a guy, you know, will watch the Warriors, they might play rugby as well, they'll play games, they'll like tutu with some like woodworking or, you know, random stuff like that. You ask like a chick and they don't do anything.
Claire's
but why?
Claire didn't have any. And I was like, no, you do. It's golf. Like, go play golf. You know? Well, it took us ages to get her back into golf too, because she like felt guilty about going off and playing golf while I was out here working. I was like, no, like you need to do it. Like you need hobbies. I play games. I don't want you telling me off when I'm playing Assassin's Creed for 8 hours. Yeah.
Why don't girls have hobbies though? I don't get it. I don't have hobbies. And if I have a hobby, it turns into work. And that's why I'm like, I just want to do something for fun and I can't.
I wonder if it's just like, you need one of those things. You know how you say you don't really read? Have you ever tried audibles? Like audiobooks? Because you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
You should try audibles. Honestly, I switched them 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I swear by them now.
Yeah.
Like they're so good.
Well, so that new movie coming out was Oppenheimer or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like my husband really wants to go see it. And he was like, do you want to come with me? And I was like, how long's the movie? That's the first thing I asked. And he was like, 3 hours, 3.5 hours? I was like, absolutely not. No way in hell.
Yeah, you got to take snacks to that movie. That movie's long.
Yeah.
I'm going to go watch it this weekend though.
Yeah.
Oh, I might not have time this weekend, but.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't even care if it's
I'm a movie buff though. I love movies.
Yeah. Anything like maybe just over an hour, you got me. But before that, nah.
What about yeah, I mean, I know it's still work too, but like, is baking, like, is that a thing for you? Just baking for fun?
Yeah, like if people come around, like I'll always make something. Yeah. You know, like.
And is that fun or is it a duty?
Fun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's a hobby.
There's nothing.
But that's a hobby.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like work, business is like my hobby.
Yeah. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But that is a hobby because it's my hobby too.
Yeah.
I fucking love what I do.
Yeah.
And if I could do it all the time, I would. The only reason I play games is when my head's scrambled.
Yeah.
And I just like, I need to take some time out before I crack into this a bit longer.
Yeah.
I need the rest. But it's a hobby.
I think, that's also come with like age too. Yeah. Like that I just let the little things go these days. Like back in like 5 years ago, something small would happen and it'll just like wind me up and I'd get so stressed. Yeah. But these days I just like don't care about so many things.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like quite a nice like headspace to be in.
No, that's good.
But yeah.
I love it. Well, I think this is my cue to shut you off. This is Connor's secret slide. Stan, you're done. Get off this thing.
And again, we didn't even really talk about like TikTok and Instagram and stuff again.
Nothing.
See, I think me and Darren should do one as well. Yeah, because it's funny.
Yeah, we should.
Should have both you guys and then just talk only about the content studio and stuff.
Yeah. And you know what we should do actually? It doesn't piss off Desert, but like we should get you to do. Has he told you about the 1NZ thing? The 1NZ. Yeah. We should get you to do the sweets. Because what we're thinking about doing is a live podcast there too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. You know, you make a whole bunch of content the whole time.
I don't want to rain on his parade either though. Like he
No. There'll be a whole thing for him there, but like we could do
that is cool.
We could do something separate as well. Like no, there is a whole bunch of content we'd make with him because it makes sense, right? Because he's fucking up the wires guy. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Cheers.
nice.
See ya.